Morning, you two. It's time to write our problem section of our text. So you're going to need some paper and your thinking hat on. So put your thinking hat on and get ready for a fantastic lesson all about adverbs. So today we're going to be learning about adverbs. Absolutely. So I'm going to start sharing my screen now and taking you through the work we're going to be doing on adverbs, so that then we can include our adverbs in the problem section of our writing. I hope you are ready. So we're going to be learning to use adverbials, and we're going to watch a short clip now from the BBC on what an adverb is.
The adverb train station. If you want to find out about adverbs, there is no better place. An adverb tells you how something happens. Here is a train moving quickly on the track. Quickly is an adverb here, as it describes how fast the train is moving. And look, here is another train. This one is moving very slowly on the track. Slowly is an adverb here, as it describes how fast the train is moving. Oh, here is a group of passengers waiting patiently for their train. Patiently is the word describing the verb waiting. Oh dear, here is the gorilla monster. He wants to play with the train. Oh, you are playing nicely with the train, aren't you? Nicely is the adverb here, as it describes how the gorilla monster is playing with the train. Playing is the verb because that is what the gorilla monster is doing. An adverb describes the nature of a verb. The gorilla monster expertly launched the train into space.
We are now going to be looking at what is an adverb. So from watching the video, you should now have a good idea that an adverb is simply a word that describes a verb. And we already know that a verb is an action or a doing word. He ate his breakfast quickly. The word quickly is an adverb as it tells us how he ate his breakfast, and the how he ate is the verb in that sentence. Many adverbs end in the suffix ly, but not all of them. So where do I put an adverb? Well, I can use an adverb before the verb or after the verb. It does not matter, but sometimes it can be more effective to use it before the verb. He quickly ate his lunch, or he ate his lunch quickly. Ate is the verb, quickly describes how it happened. He ate his lunch quickly. We're now going to have a look at 3 sentences from Cinderella. Our first sentence is, Cinderella arrived at the ball. We have steps to success to help us with adding in an adverb. So the first thing we need to do is identify the verb. And then we need to think about how it is performed. So Cinderella arrived at the ball. Can you spot the verb in this sentence? That's right, it's arrived. Cinderella arrived at the ball. So I know what my verb is. So now I need to be thinking, how does she arrive? Well, I think Cinderella would be very happy to be at the ball, so I'm going to say, gladly Cinderella arrived at the ball, because I think she would be very pleased to have arrived. So that's the first example. Hopefully you'll be able to think of some other ways that Cinderella could have arrived. Maybe she excitedly arrived at the ball, or perhaps even anxiously arrived at the ball. I wonder how she was feeling. Our next sentence, the clock struck midnight. First, we need to identify the verb. The clock struck midnight. What is the action in this sentence? Struck. What did the clock do? It struck. How did it strike? I'm going to think of a few words, but I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think about how it might have been striking. I'm going to choose loudly. The clock struck midnight. Loudly, the clock struck midnight. You might have chosen a different adverb, and that's absolutely okay. Final sentence. She left the palace. I need to identify the verb. What does she do? She leaves. That's right. Leaves or left in the past tense is the verb. She left the palace. How does she leave the palace? I think she's going to leave the palace quickly. Quickly, she left the palace. Maybe you can come up with an alternative. How could she leave the palace? Quickly, she left the palace. It's time to watch the shared write. Okay, let's write our problem section of our text. So first of all, I need to write out the things that I need to cover in my text. So, number 1. What happened when she arrived? Who did she meet? And fall in love with? Then I need to know, why does she leave? And finally, what gets left behind? So I've got my 4 points here that I'm going to check as I do my writing. And the first thing I need to think about is how I can include an adverb in my first sentence. So as always, I'm going to read my sentence out loud before I write it down to make sure that it makes sense. So I need to say what happens when she arrives, and I know that my character has gone to a pool party. So Cinderella arrived at the pool party and everyone was amazed because of her swimming skills. I now need to include an adverb, and I'm going to use an adverb of time, and I'm going to say finally. Finally, comma, capital letter for Cinderella. Cinderella arrived at the pool party. And everyone was amazed because of her swimming skills. Full stop. Now I've got lots going on in this sentence. I'm going to show. I've got my adverb of time here, which is the focus of today's lesson. I've also got 3 ideas broken up with 2 conjunctions. So information number 1, finally Cinderella arrived at the ball party. I could have used a full stop, but I've chosen to use a conjunction. And everyone was amazed. Now I could have used another full stop here, but I've extended that sentence with because of her swimming skills. So I have answered what happened when she arrived. When she arrived, everyone was amazed because of her swimming skills. My next question. Who did she meet and fall in love with? So I'm going to say my sentence out loud. Well, I'm going to have her meet a prince. And I'm going to state that she fell in love with him. But I need to include an adverb, so I'm going to say that she quickly raced the prince up and down the pool. She quickly raced the prince up and down the pool. Stop. And here I've used my adverb quickly. How did she race? Okay, I've got my verb. How did she do it? She raced quickly. It gives me added information, and I now need to say and. Oh, that was close. Cool. And so I nearly forgot a piece of the information. And soon they fell in love. Full stop. Okay, who does she meet? The prince. Have I mentioned that she's fallen in love? Yes, I have. Next, why does she leave? So why would she leave the party? Because I need her to leave in a hurry so that she leaves something behind. So, what can I say? Well, I think I want her to get home before her family get back, so they don't realise that she has snuck out. So I'm going to say suddenly, and that's an adverb. Suddenly, it tells me how quickly it happened. Suddenly, the clock struck 12. And she knew she must leave for her parents. Well, it's not her parents, is it? Who did I say? I need to check back in my text. She said wicked stepfather and mean stepcousins. Let's read it through to make sure it makes sense. Suddenly, the clock struck 12, and she knew she must leave before her wicked stepfather and cousins returned home. Full stop. Why does she leave? Because she has to be back before her family arrive. What's my last question? What is left behind? What is she going to leave behind so that the prince can find her? I'm going to say she rapidly left the party, leaving behind her goggles. She rapidly left the party, leaving behind her goggles. Stop. Right, have I answered the question? Have I used an adverb? What is she left behind? She rapidly left the party, leaving behind her goggles. So she's left her goggles behind. And the adverb, how did she leave? She left rapidly, which means quickly. Hopefully you're now ready to start writing. Just to recap, I'm going to share my screen with you. Here are the 4 questions you're going to be answering today. What happened when the main character arrived? Who does she meet and fall in love with? Why does she leave? And what is left behind? Once you've done that, you can check through your work. If you need to pause and stop this video to reread mine, it's here for you. Enjoy your writing. I can't wait to read your work.